In this video, we're going to talk about two related concepts from Goffman as well as Brown and Levinson, politeness theory and face. These concepts will help us as emerging leaders in the workplace have difficult conversations a little more smoothly. So I think there's a lot of value in these concepts that can help us in our leadership development. So let's get into the details. Hello again, friends. I'm Alex Lyon, and if we have not met yet and you've never subscribed to this channel, Communication Coach is here to help you increase your impact so you can lead the people around you to higher levels of excellence. Everything on this channel is about communication skills or leadership skills. And that's why today we're talking about politeness theory and face. These are two related ideas that will help you have difficult conversations more smoothly so you can solve those organizational problems that are hard to talk about. So let's start with politeness theory. Politeness theory came to us several decades ago, and essentially it says that we have a universal desire across the globe in every culture to be treated with politeness. Now, politeness looks a little different depending upon where you go, but we all want to be treated politely. And so when we're talking about difficult topics, if we use politeness, it'll be that much easier. So that's why we have to talk about this notion of face. So within this idea of politeness, we all have a desired self-image, a way that publicly we want to be seen. So when someone comes to talk to us about a problem, one of the reasons why it's difficult to talk about sticky issues is because we don't know how to talk to people without putting them in a bad light, without threatening their face. So every time we come in with an issue or make a request, we have a potential to make what's called a face-threatening act, an FTA, face-threatening act. So when we talk to people, we have to have a sense for how to navigate this conversation. So face has two parts. First, the positive and then the negative. Positive face is where we want to be esteemed and admired and looked up to and respected by the people around us. That's how we want to be seen in a positive light. There's also negative face. In a negative sense, we want to be free from people imposing on our freedom, on our ability to make choices and on our decisions. Because if someone is able to impose on us and take our choices away, that diminishes us, that lowers our position in the group socially. So we need both positive and negative face to be in place for us to feel like our face needs are met. So here are some ways that we can talk about this and apply this to professional settings to have difficult conversations. So we'll start with a really easy one. I often have to request letters of recommendation for myself. Let's say I'm going up for a promotion of some sort at work. And when I ask people for a letter of recommendation, I have to think about what this means. They get nothing out of this. So how I ask for this really matters. So if I were to use positive face, I would build them up and show them that I respect and esteem them. I would say, hey, I wanted to ask you for a letter of recommendation. I'm asking you because you're an expert in the field. You're extremely familiar with my work. Nobody knows my material like you do, and I think you'd be the perfect person to write a letter for me. So I'm building them up. I'm showing them I respect them, and I admire that person. The other one is negative face. I want to be sure that they know that I'm not imposing on them. I don't want to be someone who's pushing in and trying to take away their choices, that they're obligated to write this letter. So I would approach it like this if I were using negative face. I would say, I wanted to ask you for a letter of recommendation. Now, of course, feel free to say no. I know the deadline may not work for you and it's pretty short notice and I'm sure you're very, very busy. But if you have the time and you're able to, be amazing to get a letter of recommendation from you. So there's an example of negative face. So you can use both of these, of course, but this is a way to get into a hard conversation. And that's a simple request for a letter. Let's use a more serious request. Let's say you're in a professional setting and somebody around you is racking up the expenses when they travel on a business trip and you're the one who has to talk about it. Now, this is a real problem that can hurt the organization. How do you have this conversation without making it worse? Keep in mind politeness theory and both positive and negative face, and you're going to have an easier time doing this. Here's how it would sound talking about this with positive face. You might say, hey, Brad, you know you're one of our best salespeople and you know how hard you work. We all appreciate that and respect what you do here and how you contribute. We do have to talk about this expense report, however, because the expenses are going above the allowed limit. And so let's make a time to go over this. So here I built Brad up and it makes room to have a more difficult part of that conversation a reality. Otherwise, I might not know how to get there. If we use negative face, we would protect Brad from feeling like we're imposing upon him, even though we have to talk about this. So we say, hey, Brad, we need to talk about the expense report. It's going above what's allowed in our organization. Now look, we don't have to do this now. We can do it tomorrow if that works better for you, but we really do need to make a time to do it. So here I'm trying to remove the sense that I'm imposing on him and I'm bossing him around and I'm taking his freedoms away. Now you can combine these, of course, and use both positive and negative face to reduce the chances that you're going to deliver an intense face-threatening act. So when people feel threatened like this, they're less likely to give you what you want. And so having these concepts of politeness and face and using these in our difficult conversations will make it much easier to talk about hard things. So question of the day, how do you see yourself in your professional settings applying these concepts? I would love to hear your comments in that section below. So thanks, God bless, and I will see you in the next video.